And what is up, guys? Technicals Tinkers here, checking in on our little 3D print operation for today. I own a business and I got interested in 3D printing, so I'm trying it out. If I can get some sales going, then maybe I can scale this up. So this is just exhibition, just vlogging this, not instructional. I'm a dodo at 3D printing. I'm learning along the way, so learn with me. Maybe I'll do some more giveaways because that seems to really bring in the people. What am I working on today? Well, if you've been following the series, you know that I've got the big D20s, I got character models, and I've got concepts for the Colt Python, but I'm really interested in watching this P1P in its new discharge chute. Let's see if it can do it. All right, here it goes. Ready? Hey, success. That's a dirty garbage can. You can see back here, I've been working on this discharge chute for a while because I can't let my P1P discharge just straight out the back because it would fall down here into my number 3 Cobra. And so I was doing this discharge chute thing, got it all set up, got it all bolted in place. I'm printing a few more sections for it over here on the Sobol to carry it all the way down. Sobol SV08, working great over here on Cobras 1 and 2. Now I just put out the video, I just uploaded it. So not too much further along. When I do the midday update, this guy should be done. This guy will probably be done too. He's moving a little quicker. But we're getting here to the very tippity top, and that's really the danger zone with the Cobras, because as they get taller, they get heavier, they get slingier, they get momentumier. Is momentumier a word? It is now. And that's typically when you'll see layer shifts and stuff, but we're running them pretty slow. I guess I'd like it to be slower than that. I'm afraid to go into stable mode and upset the apple cart on this one, so we're just gonna let it run. But yeah, this is certainly the biggest D20 I've ever done, printing it in this manner where it's flipped up on its side and it's open in the back, and then printing its mate over there. So I'm really hopeful these will come out. And down here on Cobras number 3 and 4, we changed our scaling around for the Colt Python, and we're doing the recess, the bolt concept to test the bolt settings. And so hopefully those will be out by midday and we can test it out. It's been several hours, and to much fanfare, the first section of the D20 cube is done. Looks okay from here. We're gonna pull that off. Also, for the character model, she needed like a little pipe. Can I get this off? It's real teeny tiny. Oh, maybe be careful with that one. That's not coming off. So I'm gonna pop that off with a very fine instrument of some kind, and our second attempt at the pieces for the large Colt model. So let's grab these off the plates, take them in the office, look at them, and yik-yak for a while. First up, let's just take a look at our little character model here. So this is obviously a smoking device, and it is meant to go in there. You know, maybe I'll talk to the designer and ask her if she could just make models like all in one go, just so it's like, you know, don't have to do this. I'm not sure how this is supposed to really fit. I guess you just glue it in place. I thought from the way your hand looked, it kind of would snap in, but let's try the lighter. So I did it real simple, just, you know, what colors I had in there. I didn't have a gray loaded, so I would probably prefer this being in, okay, oh my God, it's so tiny. I don't know, why would I do this so small? All right, so let's fit that in there. No one uses a Zippo to, I mean, I don't smoke weed anymore. It's been a long time, it's been over a decade. But I used to smoke a ton, and I never used a Zippo. You don't want to use a Zippo. It'd probably make it taste weird. All right, so, all right, well, you get the idea. I mean, I think maybe it rests on here or something like that. Anyway, some people coming in and asking who the designer is. I put her link in my, well, I think maybe I took it out of my description, but if you check my old videos, I put her link in the description. She has a Discord, a Patreon, and all that kind of stuff. She sells on Cults. Very nice girl, so if you do get one of her models, tell her I sent you. So there it is. She's doing her thing. Kind of a cool model if you're into that lifestyle and, you know, you like this kind of thing. So we're gonna see how this does, because this is meant to put in my stores. Just as like a little decoration, because, you know, if showcase is just full of smoking apparatuses, and, you know, this might be a nice, cool little decoration there. And maybe I'll just print a big one to put on the Etsy or maybe even put on the store. I'm not sure, but probably want to get the settings down. This was kind of a good, inaugural test. The layer lines are heavy. There was no adaptive layer height involved here, so definitely want to do that on future iterations. But overall, it looks pretty good. Kind of leads me to another thing too, like fellow Etsy sellers out there. Every day I look at my Etsy, and because I'm obviously not selling a lot, most of my sales were crypto mining stuff, and crypto mining's not great. So I get a hornet nest here or there, or maybe a crypto mining thing. But overall, the volume's pretty low considering, and that's fine. I mean, I kind of expected that. But I was curious if other Etsy sellers. Every day I check my stats to see how many views and how many favorites the different products got. And so that was kind of why I was leaning more into like the giant guns, is because they were getting a ton of views and a ton of likes. Now it's a very interesting thing, obviously, and it's a picture of me holding this giant gun. And so that's kind of what I was basing a lot of my direction upon, is the amount of likes and interest overall in the product. And I don't do any Etsy advertising or anything like that, so it is organic, I imagine. If I was going simply based on sales, then I would lean more into crypto stuff, which I've been down that road. There's just not a lot of stuff to really print for crypto stuff. Plus, like the mining stands, I'm always a bit funny about that, because those stands are meant for people to like attach their hardware to, like hold their hardware in place. And if there's a failure point somewhere in there, then potentially the person, if your model fails, they could have a bad time with that. Another thing is the hornet nest. That's an original design, and probably my second my best-selling thing besides the crypto mining stuff. And so I'm not really sure how to lean much more into that, because it has like a functional purpose. So just going based off Etsy interest, views and favorites, that's why I was kind of leaning more so into the guns. The character models get a ton of views too. I think they're just priced too high, or maybe people view it and then decide like, oh, it's not a high enough quality model or too expensive or whatever. So I was curious what other Etsy sellers do, how you gauge the interest, or if you just sneeze it out there, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. All right, so got these here. I want to go ahead and put the heat sets in just to kind of do a trial run here, because this one's going to be a little squirrely because I got to put it in at an angle. I got to make sure the angle matches correctly, so I do not want to screw that up. So let's start with the one on the bottom. Now I didn't print this with the thick base like I would, because I'll probably make the pilot hole a little bit bigger for the heat set, because it needs to be on the money. But I guess what I'll probably do is just try to line her up as close as I can and just hope for the best. I could always come back and adjust a little bit, but the lack of infill is going to make this kind of I can always go back. So let's just hold it there and hope it doesn't fall inside the model, because it's pretty much hollow. I'm just looking for this is proof of concept, kind of. I'm sure if, I screw this down, any level of force on this from the bolt, this is going to completely rip it out, and it keeps wanting to come out. All right, next one. All right, so we're going the right way. All right, I'm going to go in this way. Come at it from the top down, and then kind of shoosh it in. Oh my goodness, this is very scientific, isn't it? I don't want to get plastic on my soldering iron. All right, hoping for the best on that. All right, and let's take a look at our big D20 here. Well, half of our big D20. So this is the first side, the one we've been following for a few days. The supports, kind of did this failure thing, and I think on future iterations, we'll do normal supports. Those seem to work a little better about that. I'll go back through too and remove all these innards. These are like, ports that made up to the other half, because this is just the scaled up version of the Talking D20. Attribution will be on the Etsy if you want to get the model. But this is so you can put like electronics inside of it, because I guess when you roll it, it would talk. All right, so surface finish looks good. All the numbers look real good. No major problems. I mean, some areas of overhang were maybe a little bit and I mean a little bit suspect. I don't know. If you've been watching me, you know that I got a pretty wide. I'm pretty forgiving on a lot of stuff. This section's overall like what, a third of the model, so it'd be another. That's 5, and then it's like 8, so 5. So like 18-inch diameter, roughly, something like that. Yeah, it'd be about an 18-inch diameter, well, from tip to tip. D20 cube. So this one is significantly larger than the other ones. I actually have the other one. Let's see, take a look. So this is the one that I was printing previously large with the old model, and just kind of hoping and praying that it came out right. So this is the big version of that, and most definitely, I mean, it's hard to tell, but it's a little bit bigger. So that's great. It allows me to, get a bigger model, which is, kind of what you're going for here. If people are looking for a big D20, they probably want one that's pretty big, and not something that's medium-ish that any person could print. So actually, I don't think I'll list this. This came out pretty good. This is like the granite effect D20, textured. Looks pretty good. I think I'll list this today. So hopefully the other half of this comes out equally as good, and hopefully it mates up cleanly all the way around the rim. All right, so let's check on our inserts here. We got this one in here, this one in here. Again, when I do the production model, should this work out, I think my next step is to print one that's got very thick base layers, just to make sure that this has something really good to stick to. I put it in the wrong side. This is the side that gets the screw. I put the insert on this side. You dumbass. This is why you don't video things, because you get distracted. I gotta make a video. Maybe I can knock it out. Well, I got it out, but when I went to insert it in here, it just fell off, and it just fell off inside the. It is actually here. It fell off inside the model. So while it burrows its way down to China, let's test the other side to at least see if we're on the right track there. I think alignment might be an issue. How am I going to align this correctly? And it's stripped out completely. So it would seem that I'm going to have to. Well, why would it do that? It was completely, it printed, I guess, support underneath the hole on the inside. I guess it would do that. This is not going well. I won't say it's back to the drawing board, because I do believe that this is the best way to approach this, but obviously I'm gonna need to reprint one of these with the settings that I'm gonna have on the model with the heavy base layers, and really think about alignment as well. So this is the point in the video, thank God, that I sent it over to my future self tomorrow morning to see how it all worked out. It is most definitely the next morning, checking in on things. None of the printers running. Noticed it yesterday afternoon. Just kind of like a bunch of little small things. So taking a look here. A bigger version of our character model, but I started noticing, like I was just watching it, and I noticed here, you can see it here, that on this overhang, it's inside, outside, and the overhang's not, I mean, it's pretty sharp, so I guess it needs supports, but it started failing underneath, and I noticed it starts like lifting. You can see how that's definitely above like the active plane. And so like when the head would come around, it would kind of like, push it down, and then rise up. And it was doing that universally across all the models. And I've seen that before, so I guess it just needs support or a finer layer height. And I don't want to do a finer layer height because these two models alone are a 3-day print. And I guess that's just something that most people just deal with, like prints that take a very long time with a lot of multicolor. But that's just so long to have this printer tied up. Down here, this did finish. This is the, this section, I scaled it up, but this is still too small. I'm just not sure why the scaling is not, I scaled it up. I'll have to take a look at it. Maybe it's I'm printing the wrong file or something. So that's kind of an L there. The newest version of the test, I just forgot to enable supports. So that's not gonna work. This is for, to test the bolt that holds the Colt Python together, but I think I might even go in a different direction. Soball's quiet, A1's quiet, but up here on Cobra 2, the other half of our D20 cube looks okay. So let's take that in the office and check it out. All right, and so giant D20 cube, seems to be a success. I was taking a look over it. The normal supports, definitely the way to go. Came off like a dream, printed up faster, seemed more solid, you know, holds together better at those really tall heights. So what I'll do is go through, this is the first section, go through and delete out all this interior garbage because I did it out of this one. This one still needs some cleanup, but just kind of going through and cleaning it quickly was kind of a bear. So maybe what I'll do is I'll take a version of this and like make it into a negative and then slip it inside and just kind of hollow it out. It would thin up the walls, but that's fine. I can just increase the, I can compensate for it. Matching it up, I have to look at the model to see which side is supposed to go with which side. So obviously there's a gap, and I kind of knew that was going to be a thing. Just wondering if it's, yeah, I think it's just a matter of matching up the particular side. So obviously a gap, once it's painted, you know, maybe that won't show through as much. It allows it to print bigger, but it isn't as much bigger as I thought it was going to be. Because if I kind of put it here, and you compare it to one that this is the maximum size I'm able to print in one go, it's, well, I mean, you might not even be able to tell on camera. Yeah, they look virtually identical when you put them like that, but this one is a little bit taller by about, say about 20, 30 millimeters, which is pretty insignificant in terms of like, you know, based on the size of these. So not sure, you know, I was really optimistic about this one, you know, kind of going through because it came out so clean and it kind of reduces the risks because it's like that much less filament. However, if I could dial in the settings for that one, I guess printing in one big go is probably just the way to go. I think too, like maybe if I combine this in a program, like just combine these two halves. I know that sounds insane. Like why wouldn't you just use that one? But those have, the numbers on those are so much deeper into the model. It's like a more significant overhang, and maybe that's why it was failing. Then again, I guess the original problem was that those sharp overhangs along the bottom, and doing it this way was just that much better. But yeah, I don't know. You know, someone commented that they never have those problems, and like, well, I mean, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know if this is the same model or what, but you know, the overhangs on virtually every attempt, you know, on a very high percentage of the attempts that I used on that, the overhangs on the numbers were just too severe, and it's like, you know, I'd have to crank the supports up, and they're like, well, I don't use supports. Well, then what are you doing? I'm not sure. Additionally, another benefit to printing it in this manner, where it's up on its side like so, is the numbers are always supported from the interior out, meaning, you know, when you print it normally, they're being supported by supports, but if we do it like this, they're always laying on top of the infill or the interior walls or whatever, and it just results in a better overall print. So yeah, I'll probably just kind of tool with this a little bit more just to make sure that it's not an issue with alignment. But like the seam, you know, would people care about it if it's a D20 that's this big? I don't know, I'm not sure. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Someone else asking if these are fair, if they're balanced, if like I ensure that the filament's evenly distributed, that it's a fair No, I don't. This is an art print. I don't know, do people, are people gonna use a giant one for the D&D game? I guess maybe if you're into that, I don't know. The final thing for today is I did receive a call yesterday from a freight carrier. You know, you get calls from them before you get a delivery. Yesterday was the 18th, which is the day that the Armstrong Giga was supposed to ship, allegedly supposed to ship. I've received no emails. I logged into Elegoo and my account history is gone. All my orders, I mean, I've placed probably a dozen orders with Elegoo Direct. I don't know if it's just a system issue, probably so. But I got the call and they're like, it's somewhere out of New Jersey. What time? And I'm like, you know, just bring it on. Do you have a lift gate? Yep. And so I don't know what it is, but I'm thinking it might be an Armstrong Giga. I was expecting no other delivery, so I may be potentially taking in an Armstrong Giga today. By the time you see this video, I might be schlepping it off the back of a truck and getting it set up. So I'm gonna work on that today, getting the area prepped, getting it ready. I know a lot of you are very eager. A lot of you have been saying you're very eager for me to see me get the Armstrong Giga, and I suspect it's because you think that I'm gonna completely whiff it and not be able to set it up. But I'll tell you something. I will rise to the challenge, maybe, and I might be able to set it up. I might just, I don't know. We'll find out, because you guys are scaring me. You're gaslighting me a little bit. I'm getting a little scared about it because you're like, you're going to hate that thing. You're not going to be able to set it up. Well, I got infinite time, dude. That's what I do. I mean, when you got your first 3D printer, did you know how to set up immediately? No. But you didn't have the balls to make videos about it, did you? No, I didn't think so. Anyway, that's what's on my card for today. Let me know what you want to see in the comments below. Let me know what you think about all the things that I'm doing in the comments below. Be sure to like the video because it's the nice thing to do, and subscribe for more content like this. I'm The Technicals. See you next time.